Hey, and welcome on in to our Glory Pro Quarantine Chats, our first one. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by one of the stars of Hey, and welcome on in to our Glory Pro Quarantine Chats, our first one. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside I know exactly what that feedback's from. Hey, KLD, welcome on in. When we do this for the first time, we're going to run into some problems, and that's exactly what we just had happen. How are you doing?
Of course. I'm good, brother. How about yourself? How you doing in these times?
Hey, you know what? I have enough stuff to do. Whether it is working out in the garage or stuff for the website Claibs Online that I'm working for, or many different Xbox games that I am
There you
rotating
go.
between. So I'm staying busy as well. But people don't care about what I want to do. People want to know what KLD is up to, because we followed you on Twitter. We know that you were first off, just take us back to the middle of March when all of this started, and you were wrestling over in the UK. What was the news like there? What was life like over there when all this started?
It was pretty wild, man. Obviously, I flew out on March 1st, and it wasn't as crazy then. I thought maybe we could at least get through the month of March, if not April, before it got too out of control. I do remember it kind of starting to explode about a week and a half after I got there. I know Italy was getting really bad and Spain was getting really bad, and I was starting to get a little worried at that point. I remember very vividly one night. Obviously I'm 6 hours ahead of everybody back home, and I woke up at 7 a.m. and I realized that while I was sleeping, Trump had made an announcement that all travel from Europe was going to be banned after whatever date it was, that Monday at midnight, or that Friday, excuse me. That's Friday at midnight, and this was Thursday, I believe, at this time. So I'm freaking out. I wake up to about 50 text messages from my family and friends like, "You got to get home. You got to get home. You got to get home. He's blocking all the travel." And about 4 minutes later, about half of them replied again, "Oh, it's okay. The UK is not involved in that. It's just Europe." So I obviously then is when I realized, okay, this is starting to switch up a little bit. I should probably get home a little sooner than anticipated. So I talked with the promoters I had later on in the month. I'm like, look, man, I really want to finish out this weekend's bookings and get home. I'm probably going to reschedule my flight for the 17th, which was that following Tuesday. So after about 3 to 5, I don't know, it felt like the whole day. After about 3 to 5 hours of sitting on the phone with American Airlines, I finally got a new flight for the 17th, and then that Saturday, Trump had announced that the borders were closing that Monday at midnight, and of course, I was due to leave that Tuesday, so I wasn't able to get through reschedule my flight. So I had to book a whole new flight for that Monday. It was a freaking nightmare, and then getting home and having to quarantine for 2 weeks with zero human interaction. It was quite a nightmare. But you got to do your duty to keep everybody else safe. So luckily, neither myself or anybody else that I've been in contact with has been sick. So that's the good thing that's come out of it.
What here it was, in the world of wrestling, everybody was getting ready for WrestleMania. There were so many shows there. Glory Pro had 3 p.m. in
Yeah.
Tampa set for WrestleMania. What was the wrestling world like over in the UK while this was happening?
It was kind of business as usual, to be honest, man. Like I remember the promoters I had that weekend, and I was like, "Yo, are we even gonna have these shows? Like, what's going on?" Like, I know back home everything's shut down, and oh no, it's okay. We'll be, there's no way we're shutting it down. So I mean, it was kind of it was they changed a little bit after a few weeks. I know that they ended up actually shutting down stuff after I came home, but their take on it at first was a lot different, man. I think they thought that they were going to be able to stay open no matter what, and that not even the government was going to shut them down. But it was very different than it was back home for sure.
I know you kind of tried to blog or write about it or tweet about it a lot during your 14 days. What is quarantine with KLD like?
It was boring, man. The first day was real easy because I was dead tired. I didn't get any sleep at the airport the night before flying out of England. I was just exhausted, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. So, I mean, the first day was easy. I just slept the entire time. I kept myself busy for the first few days. For the past few months, I've been trying to get my vintage clothing website up and going. So I try to keep myself busy with that most of the time. But man, like after just not being able to see anybody or talk to anybody or being, within, seeing anybody past a glass window, it was boring. I had everything dropped off at my front door. I couldn't even walk out. I was worried I hadn't walked outside, I could have got somebody sick. And being as that I flew out of London Heathrow and JFK, which both were really hotbeds for COVID-19 at the time, I was very worried that even if I didn't it wasn't showing symptoms that I was carrying it. So I tried my damnedest just to not even, get close to anybody. So I was just really bored. Like I said, just zero human interaction. And I tried to keep myself busy playing with my cat and whatnot and trying to work on what I can. But man, it was tough. I remember that day 15, just being able to walk outside, get fresh air. Like it was that much of a game changer just being able to walk outside, But, it hasn't been the end of the world. Social distancing is obviously working. So, I'm happy to take part and happy to do my part to be able to keep everybody else safe.
What has training looked like for you? You don't know when you're getting back into a ring. What have you been doing
Right.
to stay in ring shape?
So it's a little different than what I'm used to. Obviously, staying in the ring was always the way to stay in ring shape. And I usually, when I'm in the gym, I'm a heavy weight throwing kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to go in there and do CrossFit stuff. I like to go in. I like to put weights on bars and I like to lift. Obviously, I haven't been able to do that, and I've had to change up my training a little bit. So luckily, my good buddy Tyler Colton from up in Winnipeg, he's a personal trainer. He's been sending me some at-home conditioning stuff. So even though I haven't been able to stay in the ring or lift weights, I've been able to at least dial in on my conditioning to stay in quote unquote ring shape as much as possible. Not being on the go so much, I've been really dialed in on my diet, really dialed in on at-home training and stuff. So it's been tough staying at home, but it's also been good for the soul and good for the body. Obviously, taking this little breather. So.
So let's talk about the plans for Glory Pro. You guys came back and we lost. We know we lost 3 p.m. in Tampa. We've had a few other shows that have been canceled for 2020 so far. How are things being planned, talked about? What are the 2020 plans right now for Glory Pro?
So yeah, we had to pull out. Let's see, we had to pull out a show from this weekend. We had April 25th scheduled in Lime. We had May 30th in Afton that we had to cancel. I know we're partnered up with a totally different team for wrestling at the Grandel. I know they're staying very hopeful for our event in June. We're definitely monitoring the situation very closely. Like I said earlier, the social distancing is obviously working, and there's nothing that I would want to do as a Glory Pro to compromise that. So we're just going to monitor the situation, see how things go. But we're definitely staying positive and trying to see how things go for June. So if we end up having to switch it, we have to switch it. It won't be the end of the world. So we definitely have a backup plan in place just in case.
We all know about your journey in 2019 with the injury and being out of action. How is this comparing to what you went through last year?
Oh man, it's just really a kick in the gut to come back from surgery and then have to do it all over again basically. Luckily, I'm able to train at home and keep myself preoccupied a little more. It's not so much lay in bed and wait for this to heal before I can do anything. So I got that going for me this time around at least. But it's damn near the same. Just kind of it's kind of a waiting game too. Back then, I had somewhat of a timetable, but I was hearing a lot of different timetables from a lot of different doctors on my recovery time. So it's definitely the same in the regards of when are we going to be able to come back? When's all this going to clear up? So everything being in lingo is kind of definitely the same. But like I said, at least I'm being able to stay proactive and keep myself in ring shape and ready for when we do start running shows again.
What is one match that we lost on the card from 3 p.m. in Tampa that you really took hard?
Oh man, there's a few. I think I was most excited for AJ versus Shaza in their unsanctioned death match. I think we all wanted to see them duke it out, and we all wanted to see the blow off to that feud. So I'm really bummed out we didn't get that one, and I'm really sad we didn't get Jake something and Alex
That's
Hammerstone. I
mine.
think those are
Yeah.
two of the best big men in wrestling right now, and I was really really looking forward to that one. So the fact that we had to miss out on that was a little unfortunate, but I've talked to both parties, and we're definitely going to make it happen sometime in St. Louis this year once all this is cleared up. So.
That definitely, I saw, Hammerstone had the Hogan tan going for
Yeah,
it. He looked like he was primed and ready for Tampa.
he's ready to go, man. Yes, sir.
I think with everything being closed down, I think that's where wrestlers are probably affected the most is the lack of tanning beds and being able to get in there.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Being extremely pale is the worst thing in the world as a wrestler. I just feel, we're obviously quote unquote, naked with our, little outfits and stuff, but you feel even more naked when you're not tan. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a piece missing when the tan's out there. So, yeah, it's been a bummer for sure.
And then, of course, back here in Glory Pro, I think a lot of fans were looking forward to you getting your hands on Karam.
Yeah, Karam's throwing a lot of personal shots, man. He's been digging a little deeper than I can't even put that into words, man. The way he just came into my hometown, disrespected me and my family in front of in front of my friends and family, just his time's coming. His time's coming. I'll say that.
So we've heard a lot. We've seen a lot of wrestlers putting their stuff out there, putting their ways to support them. Right now, you wrestlers, you aren't getting paid. You guys aren't going from town to town doing 3-4 shows every weekend, making the money selling the merchandise. What is a way that fans out there can support independent wrestlers right now?
Pro Wrestling Tees is obviously the way to go, man. I know. The owner of 1 Hour Tees was saying that they've been kind of hurting without the full-time business of having big gatherings. Big gatherings was a lot of business for them, for schools and fundraisers and stuff. So anybody that you're not only supporting the wrestlers, you're supporting the brands that support the wrestlers. So if you can go to Pro Wrestling Tees and buy a T-shirt from any one of your wrestlers, you're not only supporting, your favorite wrestler, but you're definitely supporting the guys that help us year round to help us make a little extra money. So if you can visit Pro Wrestling Tees and pick up a T-shirt, it's greatly appreciated by all of us. So.
And then, of course, you see the logo in the bottom there for your new company, 1999, that you're launching up. You've been posting a lot of the merchandise that you have on there as well. What's the outlook like for that site?
So yeah, that was something that I kind of picked up while I was injured last year, and it's kind of something that's taken a back burner since I've came back. So having all this downtime to be able to work on that's been great. I think we're about 2 weeks out from launch, give or take. I know the scheduled date was May 3rd, so hopefully by then we'll be able to punch that one in. Not only is it a vintage clothing site, I'm actually launching a clothing line with it. A clothing line is something I wanted to do for about 10 years now, and I know once we started creating the logo for the 1999, I was like, this is the perfect project. I had ideas coming in my head left and right, so I just ordered the first batch of shirts for that, and hopefully by the time the website launches, we'll be able to have the clothing line involved with it as well. So soon, hopefully, 1999.com. We'll be launching soon.
And it's not just wrestling stuff. I don't want people to think that this
Correct.
is only wrestling. I saw a sweet Garth Brooks shirt that you had up there the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually shipped that out to my buddy yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a lot of everything, man. I got a lot of, St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues. I mean, all sports teams, obviously, but there's a bunch of pieces I have that I'm really fond of from, the 90s of the Cardinals, the authentic Diamond Starter collections. High-end stuff like bootleg Gucci and Polo and Tommy Hilfiger and stuff like that from the 90s. I mean, you name it. If it comes from the era, I probably got at least a piece of it here in the shop. So,
what do you have in as far as fanny packs go? Because I need one for all the running I've
none
been
of those
doing.
yet, brother.
Nothing?
Unfortunately, none of those yet. Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to work on getting some of those in stock. I was looking.
I had a few high-end ones I was looking to get in stock, but they're like MCM and stuff like that, so they might be a little too nice. But we might have some of those in stock soon.
All right. Well, yeah, like you said, it's 1999. You can you've been posting a lot of stuff on social media about that, so we look forward to that being launched as well. So you stay safe, keep in that ring shape as best as you can, and we look forward to a lot of updates, hopefully soon, about Glory Pro Wrestling coming back to St. Louis.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later we'll have a better idea of what's going on for the rest of the year. So thanks for having me, man, and hopefully we'll be talking soon.
Absolutely. That's KLD, Kevin Lee Davidson, joining us here for the first of, well, hopefully many of these Glory Pro quarantine chats that we're hoping on putting out there for you guys to stay in touch with all of your favorite Glory Pro wrestlers over the next few weeks, months, however long it's going to take before we get Glory Pro Wrestling back in the St. Louis area. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you, brother.